Hello and welcome to round 15. As always, I won't be commentating on the practice race, but I will be back in a moment. Hello and welcome to round 15 live from Singapore. Your commentators today are myatesftw and Clarita ACC. So, we go into this race after the last race, which feels like ages ago, and there has been a dramatic change in the championship. Orb King was leading the championship by 12 points, but it's now switched around to Alpu Mutke leading championship by a massive 17 points. So a complete change around there. So first in championship, as I said, is Alpu Mutke. Second is Orb King. Third is myatesftw baby. Fourth, JIOR of 144 points. And fifth, Little Paul 78. So let's just wait and see what the weather's going to be doing in qualifying today. So here's dry in qualifying, which could mean it's going to be raining in the race. And I think, looking at everyone's comments, it's going to rain in the race, but we'll finish rounding off the top 10. So 5th, Little Paul 78. 6th is Fazilla 97 in the championship. 7th is Abajagu Jagua 16. 8th is Perry the Dog 6. 9th is Carter 5510. And 10th is Biffa Chipmunk. Constructors Championship, leading the way like they have for most of the season by 55 points, is Williams, followed by Force India closely behind. 3rd, McLaren. 4th, Renault. 5th, Red Bull. 6th, Ferrari. 7th, Toro Rosso. 8th, Mercedes. 9th, Haas. And 10th, and last out of everyone, is Sauber, as we now wait for the first cars to come out on track, and I think the McLaren will be the first one out. Yeah, no, it's Brizzy. Brizzy is the first one out in the Haas. So this race could be quite interesting today. I'm not quite sure what will happen. What do you think will happen in qualifying, Claudio?
Alpamutke looks like the fastest driver in time trial, so maybe it's going to get full, I think.
Okay, so it could be another good weekend for Alpu Mutke today. Surprisingly, just watching it, he's on board from a distance. You can tell some people are using controllers just by the steering inputs. It must be really difficult to drive on controller. We've got a yellow flag, and Secretary Brizzy, when I wasn't paying attention, has retired, which is odd. So yeah, he's retired, he's hit the wall somewhere. And Elscape 55 has retired as well, which is quite unexpected. But riding on board, well, not riding on board, but watching Matthijs now come around the track, and he's had a run of some good races. Finished 3rd in Italy, finished 3rd in Belgium, finished 3rd in Hungary, finished 3rd in Germany, finished... Well, I'm making it up and look at the wrong column, aren't I? Let's start again. He didn't finish last time in the top 10. He had a bad race. He disconnected, so he has had a bad respective form. Last race finished then in Belgium. He finished 4th. In Hungary, he finished 2nd. And of course, he won the race in Germany. But let's ride on board with Matthijs now and see what lap time he can deliver. You want to talk us through the lap, Claudio?
By the way, I just got confirmation from Alpamutke that it's going to be dry all weekend, so qualifying will be dry and the race will be dry to the end.
That's brilliant.
The lap?
Yep, so Matthijs is on a lap now, coming towards the former Singapore Sling.
Well, this is one of my favorite tracks because it's very technical. Here it's important to get a good exit around this corner, a very slow corner. You might be too eager on the throttle and then compromise the exit. This is the final sector. The walls are always very close, both on the right and on the left, especially this under the bridge here, under the stadium. It's very dangerous. If you get it wrong, you can end your race here. And well, this is the end of the lap. One fast corner here. You have to brake.
Ooh, drifted a little bit there. So he must have cut a corner somewhere on that lap because it has not registered as...
Yeah, probably on the last corner.
Yeah, so you've got to be really careful around this track. It's so simple to cut a corner. As Orb King has set the first lap time at a 1 minute 37.7, which is 5/10 slower at the moment than pole position from last year. So we know that the cars can go much quicker than that, and we probably will expect them to go much quicker than that. Let's see who's close in the final sector. So Mike Bard's F1, there we go. That's more of a lap time we're expecting. 1:36.9. So at the moment it's actually a Force India 1-2, which is quite surprising, as we see Jeff Singleton coming around the final few corners to finish off his lap and sets a 1 minute 40.0.
Is the yellow tire the hardest compound here?
I believe so, because it'd be ultra soft, super soft, and then soft, wouldn't it? I believe. So let's have a look.
Owen sets his lap time on the hardest compound. I think he wants to go for an ultimate strategy.
He's always really good at doing alternate strategies in this league. He always has been. So it wouldn't surprise me if he makes the alternate strategy work really well in the race. And of course he can now attack for a second lap, because his tyres will be even better than they were previously, and will have a bit of life left for the race itself in a moment. Although he has cut the corner, so that kind of confirms that he's not on a quick lap. Although, yeah, he comes into the pits now. So, Abajagoo, sorry, out of nowhere, has gone quickest on a 1:36.5. I don't think any of us were expecting that, if we are honest, but it is a very good lap time indeed. Oh, it's, yeah, because it's hyper soft, ultra soft, and soft, isn't it? I forgot about the Hypersoft being a tyre that existed. So currently in pole position is Abajagoo 16, followed by Mike Bards, who nearly puts it in the wall, followed by Mike Bards F1 in second. Third, and in the pits, is Orb King on 1:37.7. Fourth is Hughes Moves. Fifth is Little Paul 78. Sixth, now 7th, is Perry the Dog 6. 8th is Biffa Chipmunk. 9th is Jeff Singleton. And 10th is Alpu Mutke, who I believe is on a lap.
Yes.
Got a bit of wheel spin there. Yes, so he is on a lap. Let's see how he does coming through this corner here. So he breaks down into third gear, hits the apex nice, doesn't go too wide because you can get discounted lap time these days. Make sure you get the right wheel over the curb. It hits it perfect. Left one can be hooked right over the curb. Probably could take a bit more of the curb in that corner there underneath the stadium now. Make sure you don't take too much inside, otherwise you end up hitting the outside wall. And again for that corner, trying to slow it down for the first one, getting a quick exit out into the wall, close enough to the wall not to hit it. One downshift through the final corner, DRS open, and that is a 1:34.9. That is quite a bit quicker than anyone else has gone today at the moment. But then we're still waiting for the likes of Matthijs and Jay Ior to set competitive lap times. So your prediction from the
very close.
So your prediction from the beginning of Alpu Mutke possibly being on pole looks like it could be happening very, very soon.
Yeah. Usually it's always very close from Madais and Alpu Mutke. Jayor is usually close but not quite there. So it's going to be close as always between Matthijs and Alpu Mutke.
But it's quite nice to have a Williams 1-2 at the moment. I don't think that will stand, if I'm completely honest, but We've got a Williams 1-2 followed by Force India 3-4. I think the last time we had a 1-2 finish overall in a race was here in 2015 by Merck, who were led by Nistam Andersons and Biffa Chipmunk. So this was the last time we had a 1-2 finish. Probably because they were probably one of the only two cars to finish, which is always the case around Singapore. It's quite a difficult track to make sure you get to the end of. Let's see who else is out on track at the moment. Is Kubilay Tuprak on a lap? Yeah, I think Kubilay could be on a fast lap here as he approaches the final sector now. The cars always look so much nicer in the dark, I feel, especially cars like the Toro Rosso. Coming around the final few corners now, getting a bit squirrely on the back end. And he comes into the pits. Biffa Chipmunk. Has Biffa Chipmunk won around here? No, he hasn't. But he's best finished of second here back in 2015. Could this be the day he returns to his former glory? Could this be the day that he finds pole position? I don't think so. It'd be cool though, wouldn't it? Coming over the Anderson Bridge now. Make sure he didn't clip the wall, and he's missed the apex completely. This is not going to be a very good lap from him. I think this race is going to be one of the most difficult ever to predict and keep up with this season, if I'm honest with you. I believe...
Madis for the win, baby, is on a lap, by the way.
So apparently he's done a lap of... I'm confused. He's on a lap. Yes, he is on a lap.
It's almost in the final sector. I'm curious to see what his lap time will be.
So he's coming through the final sector now. It seems his car's really hooked up compared to...
It looks very good.
Compared to Alpine Mutke's lap, where his car is sliding a little bit underneath him. Matthias looks very solid. It comes across the line
Yeah,
for 134.5. So that is a good 4/10 quicker than Alpine Mutke. So we do have a bit of competition for pole position today. Can anybody else step up to beat that lap time? It's going to be close. Blasmuk's now coming out onto the track for a quick lap, getting ready for his lap. I think he'll be the next onto a fast lap. Who else is out there? Or 571. Now he's actually been pretty quick around here recently and has been fairly quick in the league over the last few races. Just had a bit of bad luck, if we're completely honest. So let's see what sort of lap time he can do in the Mercedes. Coming through the final sector, we've got a yellow flag in sector 1 as he approaches the McLaren ahead of him. So will the McLaren get out of the way? McLaren comes into the pits. Let's see what sort of lap time. Or 571. Looks quite a tidy lap. Yeah, it's up to 6th now. So 6th, not a bad position. Just behind Orb King there. So what do you think about Orb King's decision to go onto the soft tyres, Claudio?
Yes.
Do you think Orb King's made the right decision to go onto the soft tyres?
He's on the softer tires now.
So, because he's qualified, his fastest lap at the moment is on the soft tyres. Do you think that was a good decision or not?
Well, I think Owen, I don't think he can attack the first lap time. So, in my opinion, he should go on a different strategy if he wants to have a chance.
Yeah, I think it's always a good decision. If you know you can't keep up with the pace of the others, you might as well try something different and see what that does. So currently in pole position is Matthijs, who, as I say that, has left the session. So more connection issues for Matthijs. FTW,
there's 4
baby.
minutes left. I don't know.
So he's still on pole position. He can still rejoin the session. There's still time. But I don't think he'll be able to improve that lap time. But this could play out to be quite interesting. Second is Alpu Mutke. Third, Jagua 16. Fourth, Mike Bard's F1 in his debut race. Fifth is Little Paul 78 on track now. Sixth is Orb King. Seventh is All571. Eighth is Hixie 123. Ninth is Biffa Chipmunk. 10th is Hughes Moves. 11th is Kubile Toprak, but really close to the top 10 there. 12th is Perry the Dog 6. 13th is Gogs 27. 14th is Jeff Sington. 15th Bryzy 91. 16th El Scaife 55. 17th is J.I.O. and 18th is Blasmuk. As I've just seen, Matthijs FTW baby has reconnected. So let's see.
So we lost connection.
What sort of lap time J.I.O. will set on this lap. J.I.O. of course represented our league in the United Racing Championship on Tuesday night. Let's see what sort of lap time we can do here. Up to third to split the Williams for the moment.
1 second off pace from Upton too.
Yes, that is correct. So he's over a second, but nearly a second and a half off the pace from Matthijs and a second slower than Alpu Mutke. But it looks like he's going to attempt another lap on these tyres. Of course, he won't have time to go in and come back out again. Let's see what sort of braking point he chooses here. 100-meter board down. Clips very nice. Probably could have carried a bit more speed as we go through this section of the track here. I always find this corner really difficult to get right. I always find the car either understeers or oversteers. You can't ever get as much speed around that corner as you would like. But coming through the former Singapore sling, which I used to love, I can't believe they got rid of it, and over the different Anderson Bridge than what we used to go over. Around the corner, very tail happy. Down the straight now as we head towards 100-meter board. Braking, turning right, make sure you don't drag the car too wide. I think these tyres may just be a little bit too warm now to set any decent lap time, but he's not going to give up with it. He's going to push it right until the end underneath the stadium section now. You see quite a lot of smoke coming out the back of it. I don't know if that's actually an issue or just the graphics, probably because it's dark, but coming through the final corner now, don't think it's going to be that much of an improvement. No, he does not improve on his lap time. Who else is out? So Orb King is out, and is he on? Yes, he's on the ultra soft tyres. I see. As the two Williams are in front of him, so this could get interesting. Are the Williams going to try holding him up?
We'll try again.
But will the Williams hold him up here to try and get a competitive lap time themselves? We see people slowly retiring from the session as they believe they can't beat their lap time, as Hixie slots into 7th. So now Orb King is really getting caught up by the Williams, and Williams moves out the way. I think that's Abijagua. Yes, so Alpu Mutke, let's see, just makes it across the line as he starts his lap. Let's see what sort of lap time this will be. Coming through the first few corners now. Hits the left-hand curve perfectly. Bit too happy on the corner power and the exit, but we'll see what sort of thing that does to his lap time. Carrying a lot of speed now onto the straight. DRS wide open. Urs probably on full whack as we come down through this straight, taking it as flat as he can. Wait for the 100-meter board, and there's a yellow flag ahead of him, but he'll just ignore that. Go left, go slightly across the curve, rides the curve perfectly as we come through the right-hander now. Tucks it in well out towards the wall, and he's turning point really late here to carry as much speed through this corner as possible as you go towards the Singapore sling now. Quickly turning left, not too close to the wall, but gets the curb perfectly as we turn right. Hits the curb and make sure you can keep as left as possible to avoid the right-hand side of the bridge. Braking now, turning left down this straight as we go over the Anderson Bridge. Pulling away from the Anderson Bridge now. Back towards a bit of track you already feel like you've been on, but 100 metre boards. Braking now down into second gear as we turn right out to the corner, putting the power down, trying to get as best exit as possible now, going right over the curb and want to hook the left wheel right over the curb there like that, out towards the wall as we turn left underneath the stadium, which you can't really see until you're there. Then you turn right, then right again as we head towards the pit lane now. Left, car didn't turn as he wanted it to then, but we're heading towards the final corner and he decides to abandon the lap, which means that Matthijs is in pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix, followed by Alpu Mutke. Third is Jay Yayor. Fourth is Abijagu Jagua, 16. Fifth is Perry the Dog, 6. Sixth is Mike Bards, F1. Seventh is Little Paul, 78. Eighth is Hixie, 123. Ninth will be Orbking. Wow, that's not really a good position for Orbking there, down in ninth. 10th is Gogs, 27. As I win XP. I've done quite well out of XP this season without even racing. Let's have a look who was in 11th. That is your top 10. We see McLaren still going round. Waiting for people to still get connected. So 11th is Bifford Chipmunk, just outside the top 10. 12th is
No
All
one
5
tried
7
the
1.
hybrids.
Interesting, isn't it? No one inside the top 10 apart from Gogs is on the hyper, so he could be one to watch. Hughes moves in 13th. 14th is Kubile, so obviously the hypers aren't the tyre for the race. 15th is Jeff Singleton. 16th is Brizey. 17th is El Scaife. 18th is Blasmuk. So this could be interesting. What will happen in this race? No one went on the hypers. Golk 27 is the highest starter on the hyper soft tyres. So as we wait for the grid to assemble, who do you think is going to win today? Claudio. Okay, so who do you think is going to win today, Claudio?
It was close in qualifying between the top two. I hope no one of them will lose connection, because this prevented us from seeing a few nice fights in the past races, especially at Monza. So it will depend a lot on the start, because it's very difficult to overtake here.
Indeed.
In my opinion, Mutke will win.
Okay, so you believe Alpu Mutke will win, but starting from pole position here in Singapore is Myatesftw, baby. He's had a few pole positions this season, but has struggled with connection. So can he stay connected today to ensure he has the best possibility of winning? Second is Alpu Mutke. Won quite a few races, championship leader. Second place will do him today. Third is Jay Yayor, driving for Renault, another driver who's had a win or two this season, especially his last race win came in Belgium. Can he repeat that here today? Fourth, one of the best qualifying positions I think for Abijagu Jagua, 16 this season. He's already had a podium this season and had a podium not too long ago in Hungary. Can he repeat that here today? Fifth, Perry the Dog, 6. Finished 8th last time out. I'll be hoping to improve that this time. Mike Bards, F1, the leading Force India driver in this race from qualifying. Force India currently second in the Constructors' Championship. They want to close that gap. 7th, Little Paul, 78. What can he do starting from 7th today? 8th is Hicksy123 driving for Ferrari. 9th, currently 2nd in the championship, who has to make quite a few positions in this race if he wants to extend his championship, well, break down that championship lead from Alpine McKay, is Orb King. 10th is Gogs27 driving for McLaren. 11th is Biffa Chipmunk, just outside the top 10. What can he do today? 12th is Or571. 13th, Hughes Moves. He's been frustrated with some things going on today, but hopefully put that all behind him for the race. 14th, Kubilay Toprak. 15th, Jeff Sington. 16th, Bryzy91, the other Haas driver today. 17th is Elskate55. And last but not least, driving for Sauber is Blasmuk. So, what do we think could happen in the first corner, Claudio? Are they all going to get through unscathed or not?
I hope so. I hope everyone will be safe. I don't know really. I hope to see a good race.
What do we want? Race car noises. When do we want them? Meow! As the lights go out and everyone seems to be a bit slow pulling away, and Blasmuk hasn't moved anywhere at the back of the grid, but that's not what we're focusing on today, as Alpine Mutke keeps hold of second position and J.I.O. slots into third as Abichagu 16 tries making a move. It'll be around the outside now. Is anything going on at the back of the field? I don't think so. Everyone looked like they got away fairly cleanly in comparison to that practice race. We see quite a lot of cars going wide out of this corner now as they come down the back straight, as El Scaper seems to be launched into one. Kubilay Koprak has also retired after that. Peridog 6 is trying to make a move there. Abichagu 16, but nothing can be done around that corner. Where's Gogs 27? Gogs 27 has actually gone backwards, even though he's on the softest tyre. Kubilay Toprak has left the session. So, a fairly equal start there, and not as dramatic as we probably thought it was going to be, but has anyone sustained damage? You won't really know until anyone decides to peel into the pits after this lap. Alpine Mutke is going to be really careful here because Matthijs is jumping around quite a bit. So yeah, he's decided to not follow right behind him.
His connection is red.
Yes, so we've got to watch out for Matthijs, as Hicksy123 is all over the back of Mike Bard's F1 now, who's making his debut in the championship today. Nothing can be done there. So as we come towards the end of the first lap, it is still Matthijs in the lead as Bryzy91 retires from the session. Is that going to be a safety car? We don't know, but what we do know is Matthijs leads the first lap here in Singapore, followed by Alpine Mutke, and then third is Jay Yayor, with Abichagu 16 managing to keep with them at the moment, which is really good for him. I think the only surprise is where did Orb King start? He started 9th. He hasn't made any progress up the field in that first lap. Jeff Sington has pitted. Blasmuk's all over the back of Hughes Moves, coming up the straight. Can he get a move made? He's got to be careful, he doesn't get squeezed out. But Hughes Moves actually has quite a lot of straight line speed.
Jeff Sington already in the pits.
So Jeff Sington is still on the pits. His very long pit stop as Blasmuk gets past Hughes Moves to take 12th position there. Of course, it's still quite early on in the race as the Mercedes teammates are battling it out there. Or571 and Biffa Chipmunk, and Orb King is all over the back of Little Paul 78, who's all over the back of Mike Bard's F1, who's all over the back of Hicksy. So there's quite the train forming behind Hicksy123, and Abichagu is still quite close to the back of Jay Yayor. So it's not actually turning out to be a bad race for those cars at the moment. Anything that I am missing? I do not think so. So Alpine Mutke has closed right in on myatesftw, baby, but it's one of those races where I think he just has to play it a bit cool because of the connection issues from myatesftw, baby. You want to make sure you're not going to end up in a collision, as we are riding on board now. Little Paul 78, who's all over the back of Mike Bard's F1. Does he decide to go for a move down the inside? No, not quite. Orb King now gaining on them as Mike Bard's F1 gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings. Quite the train forming here behind now what is Mike Bard's F1. Someone went wide there into the wall. Was it Little Paul 78? Yeah, Little Paul 78 went into the wall there and got a bit of front wing damage. Can he make a move though? No. And Orb King, that opens the opportunity up for Orb King, who goes round the outside, but not. Yes, he does go around the outside of Little Paul 78, who nicely moves out the way. He's now plummeting down the field just because of that front wing damage, which can cost you a lot of time around this track. Can Biff the Chipmunk? Yeah, Biff the Chipmunk easily gets past Little Paul 78, who just seems to be plummeting down the field here today. So, anything you think I've missed out on, Claudio, in the beginning of those crazy few laps?
No, I think I was watching Obkin. I think that in case a safety car comes out, I think he's the favorite.
Okay, so if the safety car comes out during this race, he could be favourite to take the win just because of that soft tyre. And of course, it is quite difficult to overtake around this track, as he's finding now against his teammate, who mustn't have got the memo that Orb King is in a championship fight, as his teammate actually comes into the pits. So that releases Orb King now, but All 571 is all over the back of him. But nothing to be done quite yet. Can he get a move down the back straight? This could be quite an interesting battle between the two, Orb King and All 571. Of course, you'd expect All 571 to get past with those tyres that he has in comparison with Orb King, but he's going around the outside. Orb King closes the line nicely, but nothing can be done between the two of them. Gogs 27's all over the back of Hughes' moves. Can he get a move done? Not quite, as he comes back. No, he decides that a move isn't going to happen, riding back on board with All 571 now. I think Orb King could be, I was going to say could be struggling, but he just opened the gap there. Someone makes a dive at the inside. Blasmic there doing a Ryan Kai move and trying to get up the inside at a corner you really shouldn't try getting up the inside of. Matthijs is slowly opening out his lead at the front. Is this a strategy from Alpumutke to try and secure some valuable championship points? Now Blasmic is the closest car to look like they can get an overtake done. I think the tyres are now starting to come towards Orb King in this race, because the Ultra Softs and Hyper Softs will go off pretty quick in this race. So yeah, Blasmic, Ultra Soft. Who's the highest Hyper Soft? Gogs 27. It's not really worked out for him being on those Hyper Soft tyres, as All 571 slides wider and wider to present an opportunity now for Blasmic on the straight to get past All 571 around the outside of this corner, which will become the inside. All 571 very respectful there, must say. And Blasmic has completed the move on All 571 to take 8th place. So currently, let's do a rundown of the order. In first place is Matthijs FTW baby, followed by Alpumutke, now 3.4 seconds behind. In third place is Jay Yayor. Fourth place, in a very strong position, is Abajagujagua 16. Fifth is Perry the Dog 6, as Hughes Moves is retired from the session. Sixth is Hixie 123. Seventh is Orb King. 8th is Blasmic. 9th is All 571. And 10th is Biffa Chipmunk. 11th is Gogs 27. 9th, 11th, what? Yeah, 12th is Mike Bard's F1. 13th is Little Paul 78. And 14th is Jeff Singleton. So now we can bring this up to 4 retirements in the session. Virtual safety car. Virtual safety car is out. This is going to make a difference. It may save some of these people who decided to go on the Hypersoft tyres, like Gogs27. If I was Gogs27, I'd pit right now, and that is exactly what he is doing. But he just needs to make sure he doesn't speed. Okay, so Hughes moves, was involved in some sort of incident with Gogs27. I would say we would invite to talk to him, but he looks a bit annoyed as Hughes moves. So we better make sure they don't talk to him straight away. And as
Gogs is pitting.
Yeah, Gogs has changed his front wing as well. So although there was no visual damage, I would assume that there was some sort of damage, and he had a penalty. Did he have a penalty? It looked like he had some sort of penalty as he was in the pit lane. The virtual safety car is still out, and he's managed to complete his pit stop behind the virtual safety car. So that may prove quite good in the future. The virtual safety car has ended, and we're back underway. Has anybody managed to get to jump on anyone behind that virtual safety car? I don't think so. Blasmuk actually has closed right in on Orb King.
I think there was some crash behind because they are literally fighting in the chat group.
Yeah, it looks like some sort of argument is going on, which I will just ignore. But
yeah,
more importantly, Blasmuk is all over the back of Orb King. Can he make something happen here? Orb King's really good off of the corners, which is making it quite difficult for anyone to get alongside him. As we go down the back straight, quite a lot of understeer from Blasmuk there. This is one of his strongest races so far though. All 571 is in this battle as well, but I don't think Blasmuk is going to be close enough to get a move done now, as Orb King does go slightly wide. And Blasmuk does hit the back of Orb King and does sustain quite a bit of front wing damage, which really does affect you, as you can see by the amount of understeer he just had through that next corner. So that's practically killed off this battle. Yes, you can just see how much he's struggling now with that car. This is really going to open up an opportunity for all 571.
Yes, you have a corner every 2 meters here, so you will lose a lot of time.
And he was 4/10 behind though, and he's now a second behind Owen. So this is going to open up an opportunity now for all 571 to get a move done on Blasmuk. What can he do? I remember in 2016 I clipped the wall and that ruined my race completely. I did finish second. I finished second more here than I've only ever finished second, I think. Yeah, I've only finished second here. But Blasmuk, as I got distracted by myself, has pitted to obviously change that front wing. So Alpamuk is slowly falling behind. myatesftw babies. Gap is opening up, as is the gap between all cars really. Everyone seems to have found their own little space on the track to race around with all 571, and although Blasmuk is probably going to be the closest in the, yeah, but all 571 and Orb King is the closest battle on track at the moment. We've had quite a good few races here in the past. One of them that really sticks out to me is the 2013 race, which of course you won, Claudio. I don't know if you remember that race that well. 2013
I
around
was
here.
reading the group chat. What did you ask? I was reading the...
You're reading the argument. So 2013, can you remember that race around here?
Was it when you spun ahead of me?
So this would be the race where your tyres were going off massively, and I decided to pit right towards the
I
end,
think
and I gained
there
like
was
3 seconds in a lap, and it was like 2/10 across the finish line or something like that, ridiculous like that.
wasn't. I think I won.
You did win. You won just, but like by 2/10. Because I remember.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah.
I remember that race.
Was it the next year when when you were ahead and you spun?
I can't remember that one. I've been spun a few times around here. Been a few races that
I still laugh when I think of that.
Yeah, there's quite a few races that I've spun in around here, but the 2013 one really sticks out because I went cycling the day before that race. I don't know how many people know this. I went cycling the day before that race.
Yes, you told me. Yes, you told me.
And I ended up falling off my bike and absolutely fucked my wrist over, big time. Like I proper sprained it.
Race then.
Yes, 2013 this was, and I sprained my wrist really badly, and I had to go to hospital and all that.
Yeah.
And it was about whether.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was debatable whether I could actually race around a normal track, let alone Singapore, and yet somehow it was one of my best races up to that point, and I nearly got my first ever win in the league with a really messed up wrist driving one-handed around Singapore. So races after that felt a lot easier once my wrist sorted itself out. But we actually have a battle on track going on right at the back between Gogs27 and Jeff Sington. Gogs27 is quite close to Jeff Sington, and Mike Bard's F1 has closed in on Hixie123. So Gogs27 has been around for a while now, probably his second or third season in our league. Where did he finish last race? He didn't register in the top 10, but in Belgium he did finish 6th, which is quite good. In Hungary he finished 9th, didn't register in the top 10 in Germany. So he has had the odd points finish, but currently finds himself in last place, and I don't think he's going to be there for much longer. But I have noticed how much Mike Bard's F1 is closed in on Hixie123, and that's aggressive driving through here as he has the DRS wide open. Coming down the straight, will he go to the inside? Hixie123 doesn't defend it. Brakes as late as possible. Alpin Mutke must have pitted when I wasn't paying attention. And Mike Bard's F1 finds himself up into the wall. I was going to say up into position, but he did just drive into the wall. And did Hixie123 drive into the back of him and sustain damage? I am not too sure. I know he drew in the back of him, but I don't know if he got damage or not. Yes, they both got front wing damage. So Hixie and Mike Bard's F1 both messed that up pretty badly during that exchange. But who's pitted? Because we were too busy chatting about our lives that we missed who had pitted. So stops. So Alpimukka is stopped. Hixie123 is stopped. Mike Bard's F1 has stopped. Blasmuk has stopped. Liverpool78 is stopped. Bifford Chipmunk has stopped. Gogs27 is stopped. And Jeff Sington has stopped. Alpimukka is now gaining on Or571 as Blasmuk makes his way past Mike Bards, who's clearly struggling with that front wing damage he sustained, especially as soon as he just came out of the pit. So I suspect that Mike Bard's F1 will be pitting, and so would Hixie123. No, Hixie123 carried on. But Alpumke looks like the person we need to watch out on track right now, as he gains on all 5-7-1. Although Blasmuk is gaining on Hixie123. Let's see what Blasmuk can do in the slipstream of Hixie123. He goes to the outside, just have more downforce because he hasn't got any front wing damage, so he should be able to carry it around the outside of Hixie123 quite simply, and gets the overtake complete. As Alpu Mutke is now lining up a move on all 571. We're not even halfway through this race yet. This is going to be quite the long race for everyone here today. But Alpu Mutke trying to line up the move on all 571. Nothing can be done through this section. You just have to be a little bit patient. Make sure it doesn't get front wing damage as Jayor and Matthijs decide it's time to pit. So, where will they come out in comparison to Alpu Mutke? Can he perform the undercut? Where are they to? I think he is. He's going to overtake both Matthijs. Not quite. He's got... Yeah, so everyone came back in the same position. I got a bit too excited, too eager then. Matthijs is long gone. I thought he was going to come out in front then. There's still arguments going on in the group chat if anyone's interested. Read them back, they're quite cool. So, Matthijs has pitted, is in third position. Fourth is Orb King. I was going to give him a number then, is Orb King. Fifth is Alpu Mutke, who has stopped and is only 2 seconds behind Orb King and gaining quite rapidly. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen here. I think, though, Orb King's strategy, the opportunity for it to work has now passed, hasn't it?
Yeah, the gap is too wide, too high for the strategy to work, and I was noticing that yes, Alpine was stuck in traffic after his stop, but he tried an undercut on Mattis for the win, baby, but the gap opened up even more.
So it didn't really work out for him there. And it is stuck behind Orb King, who, let's be honest, is not going to make it easy for him to overtake around the circuit, especially since they are fighting for the championship and Orb King needs to make sure that Alpine Mutke does not score as many points as him today. But he's going to go down the inside at turn 1, not quite close enough there. His Orb King seems to be really struggling with his tyres now, but it needs to take him a lot longer if the strategy is going to work. He finds himself on the inside and makes the overtake, but can Orb King come back at him now? I don't think he'll be able to, because Alpine Mutke still has DRS, and that's the move done. So that's really going to help Alpine Mutke in the championship. Is this one of those moments where you realise that Orb King probably is out of championship contention? That he hasn't got the pace to match Alpine Mutke, that whatever he does now is kind of over. Is this like a Singapore pole position lap Hamilton sort of thing from last season, where he laid down the gauntlet and everyone realised that's it, that's over? Or was that overtake that moment that we realised that Orb King is not going to win the championship this season? Or is it still too early to tell?
It almost looks like Mattis and Alpine Mutke are driving another category of cars. It's weird, as the gap is huge. So yeah, I think that unless something happens, unless Alpine Mutke has a lot of problems in the last races, like accidents or loses connection and so on, I don't think that Owen has a chance unless he ups his game.
Yes, so Orb King now looks like he will have to find something massive to be able to bring this championship back and win a record 6th championship in our league. But Hixie123, that's something to watch. Hixie123 and Gogs27. Gogs27 has had a few complaints in the group chat about him, but that seemed like quite an easy overtake by Hixie123. And Hixie123 gets the move done up into 12th. All 571 and Blasmic find themselves together again on track. Let's see what happens here, because I want to know what's actually happening in real racing and IndyCar right now. But this is Can be far more entertaining to watch, I hope. So all 571.
I have to say I have heard anything in online gaming, but this is the first time that someone tells someone to kill themselves. Really.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme, some of the things that are happening in the group chat at the moment, but we'll just ignore it and leave it in the group chat and let everyone have a nice read after the race for their own pleasure. So Matthijs has just set the fastest lap time, but you got to think Orb King's going to plummet down the field when he eventually pits, because he'll have to stop at some point, and it'll cost him about
He's probably forgot.
25 seconds, to call it 25 seconds. So he's going to be around 8th or 9th, isn't he? Really. Time he comes in and pits. I know he'll have the softer tyre compound on, but it's still quite difficult to overtake around this circuit as we just hit the halfway point of the race. This is where people start losing a bit of concentration, start forgetting what they're doing, as we see Blasmuk and all 571 get very close together through the first two corners as they come back towards the back straight, as all 571 got a very strange corner cutting penalty there. It was on the outside of the corner, went across the white line, but this is coming very aggressive now as Blasmuk defends the line. All 571 tries the inside, but nothing can happen there. Can he make something happen around this section of the circuit? Coming towards the final sector, very close to the wall. I thought he was going to get front wing damage there, but just manages to void it. But I feel like this strategy is really backfiring on Orb King now, because he's just getting further and further behind, isn't he? All 571 trying everything he can to close in on Blasmuk. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Let's see if anyone starts falling down the field. Nothing happened, so we're all fine there. It's all 571 really closes the gap now on Blasmuk, who went into the wall there in a very strange moment. Oh, that was close. And Blasmuk decided very last, and he's crashed into the pit wall. The very last second decision. It was very clumsy, very late decision to go into the pits, and he's collided into the pit wall. Will this bring out a safety car? I doubt it, because he's not actually on track unless someone decided they wanted to pit. But safety car would reduce the impact of Orb King's pit stop, but I don't think it will completely save the situation though. So there is no safety car after that collision by Blasmuk. What else is going on track? So JIO is closing in on Orb King. The two people representing us in the United Racing Championship. We did pretty well. We got a double points finish on our first weekend racing when we were against some really quick esports guys. I think that's something that we should be proud of, but obviously be aiming to improve in the future. So JIO closing in on Orb King now. What can he do? It should be a fairly simple overtake, because JIO's tyres are much fresher than Orb King's. In the DRS zone, Wing wide open, dives to the inside but thinks better of it. Can he get a dive down the inside here? Not quite. It's just playing it cautiously is JIO, making sure he gets through this section of the race unharmed. You don't need to get damage behind someone who will eventually fall behind no matter what. I guess with the dirty air on this game, it would be quite difficult to follow cars around this circuit, would you not think? So, slipstream as Perry the Dog 6 is retired from the session. Let's see if we can catch where he has crashed to. Where has he lost it to? His yellow flag down here. So he appears to have clipped maybe the inside wall before the Singapore sling. That's where his car must have sustained its damage, but his car is well off the track, so it shouldn't be a safety car or virtual safety car, as J.O. is closing now on Orb King. But nothing can be done through here. A safety car could actually save Orb King if everyone else decides they're going to pit as well. That's the only way I can see it helping him. So DRS open for J.O.
Yeah.
Coming down the back straight now.
Okay.
And the move has been
I
completed.
Think
Carry on.
No, I was saying that I think Akumutke is on a strategy that can let him stay on track even if safety car comes out, because he's on the hard tires.
Yeah, so he should be fine. If the safety car comes out, he can carry on. Everyone should be fine, really. I don't think anyone else would have to pit unless they're going to try defending from Orb King, because you'd actually be able to save tyres for a few laps behind the safety car, which should give you enough life to push a little bit harder after the safety car. So I don't think anyone should be seeing Orb King as a threat now if there is a safety car. I don't think there'll be much point of pitting for those top three. Although J.O. Well, actually, Alpumutka may be able to open the gap up to make it work for him to pit behind the safety car. Because if he pits behind the safety car, he'll be able to still get out in front of J.O., wouldn't he? At safety car speeds.
Yeah,
so,
probably.
In the lead, dominating this race, as he has quite a few races this year, but has just been very unlucky with connection, is myatesftw, baby. In second place is Alpumutke, who I got really excited then because I was riding on board with him and I was looking, I was like, he's right behind Myatesftw, but he isn't, it's just Gogs 27. In third place is J. Yayor. Fourth place, but hasn't stopped yet, is Orb King. Fifth place, Abajagu 16. Really strong race so far from him. Sixth is Or571. Seventh is Little Paul 78, the reserves driver for URC Racing. In eighth place is Mike Bard's F1. In ninth place is Hixie 123. In 10th place is Biffa Chipmunk. 11th is Gogs 27. And 12th place is Jeff Sington. So there's quite a few battles that still need to be settled out on track. I think Hixie 123 has had quite a good race apart from all the times he's crashed. He would easily be in front of Mike Bard's F1 right now. But then Mike Bard would probably be in front of Little Paul right now if he hadn't had to stop twice. But quite a few good individual races happening there out on track as we have 11 laps still to go. Do you think Matthias got this one wrapped up and in the bag, Claudio?
Yes, I say, his connection is kinda weird, so you can never be sure that he will complete the race. But yes, if nothing happens, Akumutke, I expected Akumutke to be close. Actually, thought he would win, but I expected him to be closer to him in the race, but he never had the race.
It's been quite a strange race from Alpamuk. He's quite for the first 2 or 3 laps, he looked like he was really gonna maybe take a battle to Matthijs, and I thought he was only backing off because of the connection issues for Matthijs. But it's proven now, after 20 laps of racing, that he just didn't have the pace to win here, as Mike Bard's F1 gets a 3-second time penalty. I don't know if there's anyone else worthy of a shout out. JIO has obviously had quite a good race in 3rd position today. He's 4th in the championship currently, and 3rd in the race today. His real only competitor is Matthijs, who's 11 points ahead of him in the championship, but of course that would be 22 points after this race, so the gap will open up again. So JIO is in a world of his own really in the league, so his own little space in the overall championship. And this is not going to be, as we see, Orb King coming in to the pit. What tyre does he fit now as he comes down the pit lane? Is this that's the Ultra Soft, isn't it? Not the Hyper Soft. So he's chosen to fit the Ultra Soft. Let me just check that. Yep, he's fitted the Ultra Soft to go onto until the end of the race, and he comes out quite happily in 5th position in front of All571, but I don't think that gap to Abidjagu 16 that he's going to be able to gain enough on Abidjagu 16 before the end of the race. He'll have to gain like 2 seconds per lap. I just don't think he'll be able to do that.
No. He'd have to recover 2 seconds, more than 2 seconds every lap.
So Hixie123's decided he's going to come in and put the Hypersofts on. That's probably not the right choice. That's not going to bring him to the end of the race, is it?
Abidjagu.
Hixie123's just coming to the pits and he's put the Hypersofts on. I don't think they will do 10 laps. Struggle to get 5 out of them around here. It'll be very interesting to see what he does. Especially with Gox 27, probably he's thinking he can get a podium now. Oh, podium, sorry, that'd be extreme. A top 10 finish now. Tell you what, a safety car would really liven this race up, wouldn't it? It'll close some of the gaps we have between the cars.
Everyone is in no man's land.
There's quite big gaps between all the cars. No close racing going on. So
Kinda reminds me of Spa.
yeah, Spa was a bit like that this year, with people not having many battles. But it's taken quite a few races. Normally we've had quite a lot of exciting races throughout the season. I think it's probably one of the... It's always the ones you think will be exciting that end up not being exciting, isn't it? It's always the ones you think you'd have loads of battling in that end up being really boring. But let's have a look at some championship battles that are going on. Little Paul and Fazillo. So Fazillo 97 doesn't race anymore, unfortunately. But Abidjagu is currently 16, is currently on 90 points in the championship. And Little Paul is on 100. So he's going to gain quite a bit on Little Paul 78. And he will overtake Fazillo in the championship if it stays like this. So he could be fighting for 5th place in the championship come end of the season, which wouldn't be a bad result for him. And of course for Williams, who are currently leading the championship, that would help them no end. What other battles are going on? Prairie Dog 6 is retired. Carter 5010 isn't here today. Bifford Chipmunk, he's currently 9th, so he'll get 2 points. That will close the gap up in the championship to 2 points on Carter 5510. So that would help him in his championship battle. And the constructors Is there any close battling going on there? Not by the looks of it. Renault and McLaren. Is that going to be settled here? No, that's not going to help much. Renault behind McLaren, that is. Toro Rosso and Ferraris. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Briefly disappeared. And we've got Alpine stuck behind Biffa Chipmunk at the moment. Biffa Chipmunk does move out the way quite graciously, so that's probably what the yellow flag was. He's probably moving out the way for Matthijs. See what other championship battles are going on. Toro Rosso, Ferrari and Mercedes. Mercedes are having a good race, so that will help them against Toro Rosso, who is not having... well, who are not having a good race at all. They're both out of the race, aren't they? So Mercedes will leapfrog Toro Rosso in the championship, I think, if it stays like this. But how many wins has Matthijs had this season so far? I'm going to go back and count them up. So he has had... how many wins has he had? I haven't seen any yet. So his first win came in Spain. So that was 1 win. 1 win. Then he went on a bit of a winning streak, didn't he? 2 wins, 3 wins. So this would be his 4th win if he was to convert it. But I've just seen that Alpine is closing the gap slightly on to Matthijs. Sectors 2 and 3 is a yellow flag. Nothing. Oh, there is a Ferrari off of Hixie 123 facing the wrong way. And Hixie 123 has left the section. So yeah, it looks like he's gotten a bit more front wing damage and decided that he's going to call it a day. Very odd. There. 6 laps to go in this race, with Matthijs FTW baby leading the way. It's been quite an exceptional drive from him today, as have been really all his wins this season so far. I think he would become the driver who's won the most races this season after this win, as he laps the car of Little Paul 78, I would presume, unless it's Jeff Singleton. No, it was Jeff Singleton. So laps the car of Jeff Singleton. There's literally no battles going on the track. Everyone's evenly spread out. It's the most frustrating thing ever. So let's look at some past records around here. Alpine did not race here last year, so that doesn't really help. Matthijs FTW baby did finish 3rd here last year, behind Jay Yayor, and the winner, of course, as was the case quite a few times, was Calic Rist. In 2016, Orb King won the race. It was a wet race. I remember that one quite distinctly. It was one I was really annoyed I didn't win, but Orb King won, followed by me, and followed by Falcor. In 2015, Mr. Mansons won the race driving for Mercedes, followed by his Mercedes teammate Biffa Chipmunk. This has proven to be the last time the team has scored a 1-2 in this league, and of course doesn't look like it's going to happen again today. 2014 was another win by Orb King, another 2nd place by myself, and 3rd by Mr. Manson. 2013, the race that Claudio and I spoke about earlier. Claudio won, I came 2nd, and Fabian came 3rd, for the people who remember Fabian. In 2012, Clarkey won this race. One of the now the Apex Online Racing League guys. Okay, so something's actually happened in IndyCar. I just got distracted. There's something big happened in IndyCar, and like an 18-year-old's going to win, which is quite impressive. But anyway, what was I saying? Clarkey won in Orping, was second. In 2011, Lightspeed 1987 was the winner. And in 2011 Winter Series, Son of the Blues was the overall winner here. So only Orping has been the repeat winner here at this track. And we're going to get another new winner here. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of 8 races here, we've had 7 different winners. Out of 9 races here, we'll have 8 different winners, which I think is pretty impressive for a racing league. This race always seems to throw up quite a few surprises. Who would you pick, Claudio, at the moment for your driver of the day?
Gox.
Why Gogs?
Owen told me.
So Gogs 27, really solid drive, finishing 10th. Definitely deserving. I mean, he's made 1 pit stop, so he's had a solid race. Where did he start? He started 10th. He hasn't lost any positions.
You can say that you weren't watching it.
I think I've been paying too much attention to other people to appreciate the true value of this driver of the day race by Gogs 27. If in any other day and he drove like this, it would be in the race win. I can't see any other way that... I'm quite surprised he was beaten today, to be honest, given his pace and given his strategy. I think he deserved to win this race, and if I was in his position, I'd be quite disappointed that I didn't win, considering the amount of effort and time I put into this race. And especially seems that the commentators didn't really focus on him as he moves out the way. See how gracious he is. Just completely moves out the way for Orb King. Definitely deserves the driver of the day today. Little Paul 78, 3.5 seconds behind Mike Bard's F1. There's actually quite a few teams
You
are going to
sounded convincing.
I did. I'm glad. I tried to sound convincing. What I did notice though is, so McLaren are going to get a double points finish. Williams are going to get a double points finish. Renault won't. Force India will. Mercedes will. So there's actually quite a few double points finishes for cars and teams out there, which again in league racing can be quite rare, especially in our league. We don't often get that many double points finishes for teams. As we reach lap 28 out of 31. Hopefully we'll be lap 29 soon, because my room is getting boiling hot. And it always does when it's at Singapore. I don't know why. It's like this time of year, racing around Singapore, and it gets really warm. I think that's adds to the challenge of racing around Singapore. When is the next race? Where is the next race as well? I'm going to have a look. Where is the next race of our league? Is it something like Japan, isn't it? Where and when? Let's have a look. Getting my calendar out. So, where is the calendar? There's the calendar. So, the next race in our league. Let's scroll all the way down to Singapore. Will be the 7th of April in Russia. 7th of April in Russia. I don't think I'll be commentating for that one. I am away, so Claudia, you have the honour of being sole commentator.
Next race?
Next race, which I just did say. I think it was Russia, did I say?
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, Russia. You'll be sole commentator next time out, as I will be
Russia.
on the motorway driving home. So
No.
I won't be able to commentate from there. Or maybe able to watch it. I probably won't commentate, but I'll be told off if I commentate because women. Anyway, so I just noticed Liverpool 78 has decided that he's going to give us a nice battle to finish this race off with, as I've talked a lot of rubbish over the last few laps, but hopefully these two will give us a battle to talk about. He couldn't quite get the move done, which is great for us because it gives us more to talk about, but he's all over the back now of Mike Bard's F1, power sliding it out of the corner. Now what sort of exit can he get going down the straight? DRS wide open, tucks into the slipstream. Mike Bard's defends it inside. That means Liverpool 78 had to lift off. Very good defending on Mike Bard's F1 there. Can Liverpool 78 get a move done around the outside of this corner? I don't think it will be possible. But it gets a very good exit. This is what we've been waiting for the last few laps. This is what we need. But he gets a very good exit off this corner and going into Singapore Sling. I don't think a move is possible down through here. But Liverpool 78 is definitely the quickest car out of these two. As Orb King gets a 3-second time penalty, but that is not going to make a difference to the final race result. Still can't get past, can Liverpool 78. Oh, and Gogs 27 gets the 3-second time penalty, and that's driver of the day taken away from him. So, coming towards the stadium section, does he decide to go down the inside here? Probably best to not do that. But he's definitely the quicker car coming towards the start. Achoo! Finish line, bless me. DRS wide open in a slipstream, has to go for the outside line, leaves very little room to Mike Bard's F1, but Mike Bard's F1 keeps the position. Going towards the back straight now, he's got the outside line, he's got the faster car, but can he do anything with it? Mike Bard's F1 is defending for his life. Go around the outside, no. He's gonna have to try a dive bomb in a second or two, isn't he, to get this move done. But he's definitely the quickest car out of the two. He's got a really good exit now, brings himself alongside Mike Bard's F1, but somehow when the camera cut away from them, he ended up falling behind Mike Bard, but he's hopefully going to realise that Alpu Mukke is behind him and that he does need to move out of the way for the faster car. He's so focused on his own battle, he's going to hold up the leaders, but there's only been one winner today from the outset. It's been clear that myatesftw will take his 4th win of the season and crucially takes 25 points in the championship. Second place is Alpu Mukke, who will finish with 18 points in championship and extend his championship lead over Orb King. Third place will be J.I.O. As I noticed that Liverpool 78 did get past Mike Bard's F1. Or at least penalties made sure he was. J.I.O. is now coming towards the finish line and takes 3rd position to round up the podium. 4th place, really good 4th place by Abajagu Jagur 16. He should be very proud of this 4th place. Well done from him. 5th, probably won't be happy with 5th, but Orb King is going to come round to take 5th position, providing that he doesn't crash on these final few corners. Is this the end of the championship battle for Orb King? Is it now too much of a mountain to climb? I think it is, because he's going to now be under threat from Matthijs for second place in the championship. But Orb King, quite a disappointing race, finishes 5th as we wait for the final car to cross the line. All 571, giving us some good battles today. All 571 finish wherever he finished. 6th it was. So let's go through the podium. So there will be some investigation after the race, I'm sure, but Matthijs takes his 4th win of the season and sprays the champagne.
I think you noticed.
I noticed what? So here are the top 3. So the winner today is Matthijs FTW, baby, followed by Alpu K in 2nd place, and rounding off the podium is Jay Ayor, followed by Abajagu Jagua 16, Orb King, All 571, Little Paul 78, Mike Bards F1, Biffa Chipmunk, and Gogs 27 rounds off the top 10. So that has been round 15 of Dynamic Racing League Main League. We will see you again in 2 weeks' time, I believe. Is April the 7th, isn't it? 2 weeks' time. Yes, 2 weeks' time. The same weekend as the Chinese Grand Prix, I believe. But we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Well, Claudio will. I won't. But thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed. And we shall see you soon. I don't think... Do you want to do some interviews? Should we try doing some interviews?
I invited them.
Okay, so J.I.O.
Join.
So since you're the first person to join, talk us through your race. How did your race go? Boring. Yeah, we found ourselves quite bored at times during that race. Yeah. It seemed like one of those races where everyone kind of found their own gap and ended up just fighting for their own little space. Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit like that. We saw quite a bit of lag from Matthijs at the beginning. How do you think qualifying went? Do you think you had the pace to improve? 'Cause you did qualify 3rd. Do you think you could have qualified 2nd or 1st? Yeah, it can be quite difficult. So that everyone went for their preferred. Okay, well, thank you for talking to us, but no one could hear you throughout the whole thing because I don't know why. I've just got loads of comments in the video like, we can't hear. Oh, okay. Well, don't worry about it. Well, next time we'll have it right.
Winner.
So, we will now... Thank you for joining us, JIO, anyway. And we will now talk to the winner of the race today, Matthijs FTW, baby. So, how did you find it? Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit It did affect a little bit, but I don't think it was. I still think overall you had the pace to absolutely dominate the race as you did. So how did qualifying go? We saw you got disconnected. Was that a bit of a scary moment for you? Oh, okay, fair enough. Good idea. Oh, okay. So he ended up binning it right in front of you, which surprised you and scared you. I can imagine that being quite concerning. Same again, Matthias. No one can hear you, but it's been good to chat to you anyway. Um, after this race, any questions you have, Claudio, for Matthias?
No, really.
Okay. Well, you just basically you dominated the whole race. Was it a bit boring at the front? Oh, there you go. Awesome. Did you find it a bit boring at the front, just leading all the way? Yeah, it can get quite difficult, especially around Singapore. You've got to make sure the concentration levels are at a complete maximum. Did you find that traffic today was any issues? Yeah, I saw that. Mm. That is a very good decision, completely. Anyway, thank you for talking to us. It's been nice to talk to you after the race, and well done for your fourth win of the season.
Thanks.
So, Alpu, Mukke, how was the
First of
race?
all, is my mic good?
Yeah, we can
Like
hear
last
you.
time it was. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was exhausting, definitely.
Yeah, it's always
uh,
one of those races.
yeah. So a pretty calm race for me. I just went through in second.
Yeah, how do you think qualifying went? Do you think you could have got pole position, or was Matthias just so quick that no one could touch him today?
Maybe, but I don't think it would have made a difference. I want to get up and secure a top three.
Yeah,
Like crashing during qualifying would have been the worst thing. So yeah. I got a good start, and the pace in the first few laps was good, but and Matthias was lagging a lot, and yeah, I kind of had to back off, so maybe
yeah,
that's something to discuss afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah, then
We saw the lag causing you a lot of issues. I saw you diving to the left on the straights to make sure you went right behind him
mhm.
to make sure you
But I
didn't
don't think
crash in
he
the
would
back.
have made a difference at the end. He just had the edge over. So yeah, I'm happy with second because I'm missing Russia, and I have a gap of a win. I think. Yeah, I think I have enough of a buffer to
Yeah,
suffer that. Yeah.
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 Orb King is. You did get quite a big gap now over Orb King. So what you were 20. You're 23 points ahead of him going into this race. So you're not. No, not 23. You're
It was
20.
17, I think.
17. So yeah, you're going to easily have that big buffer because he finished way down the field. So yeah, you'll definitely have a gap of a win over him. And Matthias isn't going to be beating that, I don't think. So yeah, you coming out of Russia will be quite an interesting championship, I think.
Yeah, it will be very close at the end for sure.
So hopefully we'll have quite an exciting final few races between you,
Yep.
Orb King, and Matthias. Cloud, did you have anything to ask Alpimuke?
Did you just stop pushing at some point, or were you just off pace this
Uh,
race?
yeah, I think I was off the pace a bit, but I was pushing pretty much the entire way, but yeah, not too much because I didn't want to crash and ruin everything. So yeah, he just had edge over me this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, I think. But overall, you, Matthias, and probably JIO as well, are just in a league of your own, really, compared to everyone else. Because you all pitted
Yeah.
and still came out in front.
Only because I'm not there.
Yeah, oh, well, I would have added you clearly, Claudio, to that list if you were there racing today. Thank you. Alpin McKay, for talking to us. And you are championship leader, and you will be championship leader after the next race, whatever happens. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, have a good day.
And you, cheers. So that is the top three. We have spoken to the top three, and I don't think we'll need to talk to anybody else because no one else really has any interesting things to say because I think everyone had a fairly static, boring race. But this has been Dynamic Racing League's round 15 at Singapore. There will be a race in 2 weeks' time, streamed live by Clat Eater ACC and commentary provided by Clat Eater ACC. Thank you for joining us today, and we shall see you very, very soon. Hopefully 2 weeks' time. So adios, everyone. Thank you.